Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today on Rising Stories. I am so glad you are here. You might be driving to work or on the treadmill or on your lunch break. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Each week I interview an author or a business owner and we talk about how they live their life and how they work, all at the same time. We dive into the ins and outs of what it takes to run their businesses, and we just have a great time getting to know each other. Thank you to everyone who left a review for Rising Stories. Please keep sharing this podcast with your friends, subscribe and share on social media. It's how we get the word out and it'll help Rising Stories. Today on the show, I interview Sarah Siegand. She is an author, writer, speaker, and most recently, she and her husband have started a campaign to promote online safety for kids. It's called Parents Who Fight. Sarah and I are friends in real life, and we actually live close to each other, so we just started talking about all kinds of things, and I think you're going to really enjoy this conversation with Sarah. It was so much fun. Please be aware that because of the nature of the topic today, our discussion may not be suitable for little ears. And for your older kids, you might want to use this as a launching pad for some great discussions about online safety. And don't forget to listen to the very end for a special offer from Parents Who Fight. Here is my conversation with Sarah. Thanks for coming on. I'm super excited because we're friends in real life.
Real friends.
We are real friends. Not that my internet friends are not real friends, because we do go in deep with some stuff, but yes. We're close and close because we actually live fairly close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
In the Nashville area. So you live here in Nashville and I do too. And I'm surprised we don't ever run into each other at any grocery stores. I have never run into you at any grocery stores. And I know you grocery shop.
I do, but I have actually started doing the online grocery ordering. So that could be.
You do that?
I do.
Which
I just
service?
started. I do the Walmart one because it's free.
Right.
And there is a Walmart market near my home that I've gone to for years and years. So I really know all of the things that I get there. So it's very cut and dry. I know exactly which product and which brand of each thing that I buy. So I love that.
I had no idea that one did it.
Yeah, it's actually not the small one near my home, but it's a super Walmart that's just down the road.
Okay.
But they have the same products. So I know the products, and then I can, order it from Super Walmart. And I can also order things like muffin tins or,
you mean like a muffin, like you mean those little muffin liners?
Yeah, like something that's not, like an actual pan.
Oh.
Something that's not even in the grocery section. You can order online and they will bring it to your car.
What? With your groceries? They'll pull, what if I wanted like a floaty? Would they go pull it and bring it, or no? It has to be kitchen stuff.
I think if you can order it online and you can put it in your basket, they will get it for you and bring it to you.
I love that.
I know.
What a time saver.
It is really huge.
But you know what? I'm kind of have a bitterness in my heart about that, because I think, where was this when I had little kids and had to buckle them in and out with those big carriers and diaper bags, and now my kids can walk and talk and almost drive themselves to the grocery store, and here it is.
I know. Well, now you just have to be happy for your future grandchildren someday.
There you go.
They won't have to get carted all around the grocery store.
There you go. That's awesome. So you know exactly what to order, and you just make your order every week. Yep. Are you like a creature of habit? Do you do the same? You have the same?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not great at meal planning because I am not really a cook. So I still have to run to the store here and there. If I'll buy staples like a certain kind of meat and vegetables and whatever. But then if I'm like, I want to make this and it requires fresh basil or something I don't have, then I still will run to the grocery store for little things like that. So that's my only downfall, is that I don't like plan my menu and then grocery shop off of that. I just kind of get the same grocery items every week for lunches and, basic foundational meals. So, and toiletries and all that. So
that's a pretty cool thing that you can
it is cool.
Get it all
and it's
done.
It's free.
So
I mean,
I like that.
Why not?
Free is good because you just drive up and they bring it to your car. It's like ordering at Sonic or whatever. They just you pull in and they bring it to you.
And if you refer somebody, you get a $10 coupon. So somebody used my referral, so I got $10 off my last order. Yeah.
That's even better. We need to put that out there. Yes, it is. So back to the show.
Yes,
back to why you're here. To tell us who you are and what you do, because you're a working mom.
Yes, I am.
And tell me who you are and what you do. You're an author.
I am a self-published author. That doesn't take up as much of my time these days as it did, a couple of years ago when my book was kind of hot off the press. But my tent making, as I say, is graphic design. So I am at home working while both of my children are in school. I have one in elementary school and one in middle school. And I work for various companies, from healthcare companies to record labels or private schools that need ads, whatnot. So that's kind of the bread and butter, so that I can earn some income, so I can focus on things that I'm passionate about. And one of those things is an online safety campaign that my husband and I started a couple of years ago called Parents Who Fight. So I spend probably an hour or two every day either researching stuff for online safety or writing blogs or recording podcasts or reaching out to prospective churches or schools that have inquired about getting us in to do a seminar. So that takes up a decent amount of my daytime as well.
So you guys came up with this. Now, how did this come about? How did you fall into or have you been passionate about online safety?
I mean, as a parent, of course, I think it's more and more on parent radar these days. So it was already on my radar. I had the privilege of being scholarshiped to go to a conference about 2 years ago. And it really changed my life. It was a very educational experience. And I came home realizing I know so much from going to this conference. There's no way I can keep it to myself, because I can actually help other parents with what I just learned from these experts. So basically, when I came home from the conference, I just kind of started, stealing my friends' computers and their phones and kind of helping them lock things down. And coincidentally, that fall, both of my children had different incidents that happened in their elementary school that made me alert to the fact that some of their classmates were watching pornography, which was pretty alarming since they were in the third and the first grade. And as I, sort of was processing that, I really felt like there was an ally with the school principal, and that I could go to him and ask him if we could just do a simple presentation for the parents just on a weeknight, so that parents can know a little bit more about how to make their technology safer, so that their kids aren't accidentally finding things. Because that's in elementary school, that's what's happening. They're just accidentally finding things, or if it could be that there's an older sibling or something in the mix, but usually it's very accidental. And so anyway, this principal had the courage to let us come talk to the parents about it. And that's really where Parents Who Fight was born, because we wound up getting several invitations out of that one very small school seminar. And, I was constantly researching stuff already. And I started kind of hungering to do even more of just a more proactive campaign, so that it wasn't just about my children, but I could really be a resource for other parents. So I was still working. I was in the workforce working for a nonprofit at the time. So it was those were crazy days.
Mm-hmm.
But since January of this year, I was able to step out on my own again and do graphic design as a freelancer, which gives me the flexibility in my schedule to be able to focus on Parents Who Fight when, we're preparing for a seminar or whatever. So.
Mm-hmm. So your website, Parents Who Fight have .com, has like a blog. So you blog about it, and then you do seminars at churches or schools. And then you
Yes.
also do some consulting work with people who are like, hey, I don't even know what to do. Like
Right.
my kid is, the other day saw something pop up on his iPhone, and he has to have an iPhone. He has to have his phone, but I don't want him to just see whatever. And so they can call you, and you guys sort of can come in and do a sort of clean sweep, so to speak, to kind of
Yes.
taking care of all the things that, okay, well, you need to put this firewall, or you need to put, not a firewall, but you need to put this, what do they call them?
Like parental controls
Parental
or
controls.
filtering and monitoring. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's so
we've
needed.
really just been getting very informal requests because we've made ourselves available. If you have a question, just call us or message us on Facebook. And we get so many of those that we have just recently started making that available as a more formal service that we would provide.
Yeah.
So, I actually was at the school, I guess it was last week, for a back to school night, and a parent had asked a question about some of the take home technology that's being introduced at the school. And so I just approached the parent afterwards and said, hey, here's something that my husband and I started doing in our home with filtering our Wi-Fi. And this guy said, what's your consultation fee? I need you to come to my house.
Yeah.
It's just more and more apparent that people are really hungering for that. They want hands-on help because they want to make sure that everything is just as shored up as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, yeah, because and it's just it's subtle. Sometimes it happens really quickly and you have no control over it.
yes.
And sometimes, it's maybe there and you're like looking at something and there's an ad and they accidentally click on that, or they're doing a search and they have no idea.
Yeah.
Now, do you talk to the kids also and say, this is, how to do a safe search? I can imagine.
I would love to expand our service into being able to teach kids some digital safety.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate enough to have, at least at our elementary school, we had a great ally in the computer science teacher because she was really teaching those kids some of the same things that we were. Of course, I've taught my kids, these simple things. One of them is you're only as safe as where you start. So if you just go on to Google and just start typing things, you're very much rolling the dice. There's lots of search engines out there that are safe, that already have filtered results, and they will block anything explicit by nature. So if you start on one of those search engines, then you are guaranteed that you are going to be kept more safe than if you just go to Google or Bing. And so we've had conversations, and I've also reached out to the teachers, just about every year, and just saying, hey, would you mind setting the computers in your classroom so that the home screen is not Google, but it's Kiddle.co or kidrex.org, so that the kids know, oh, I'm on something safe. Because what will happen is a kid at school, the schools have actually pretty good filters.
I was going to say they do. Yeah, I know my son does.
Yeah, they have to. They're legally required to do that. But what will happen is there'll be, kids will be Googling something funny at school and not get any weird results because of the things that the school is blocking. So, for example, my son was Googling Donald Trump's hair in third grade. They were doing a PowerPoint about hairstyles, and somebody did Donald Trump's hair. But I can't guarantee that if you come home and you don't have any filtering or blocking on your home computer and you go to Google and type in that same search result, if you will get clean results. So it's kind of misleading for children if they're always on Google at school, that they think Google is a safe option, and it's really not. At the school, it's safe, but the kids don't realize why it's been made safe. So we encourage teachers to be part of that online safety foundation of helping kids know that you're only as safe as where you start. So you have to start on a safe site to know that you're going to actually be kept safe. So that's one of the principles. But yeah, I would love to talk to kids about online safety or digital footprints. There's great resources out there that you can use to make it fun. And so, you know, I'm always talking to my kids about it. They're probably like, Mom, I know.
They're probably, yeah. Well, that's good though, because, you know, at least, you know, the shoemaker's kids are not going shoeless. You're practicing all this at home. You've got your parental controls. You're explaining it to them. Mm-hmm. And so that's really good. Now, at what age do you even start to talk to parents about parental controls?
I mean, honestly, because kids are getting their hands on devices younger and younger.
Yeah.
I think the statistic that I read the other day was that 70% of American kids have their own mobile device, some as young as 4. That's crazy.
That is so true. I mean, my daughter babysat, and like most of her, when she was in high school, and most of her, the kids that she babysat for had their own iPad minis or some device. Now, I'm sure that, well, I hope that they had put something on there, or maybe it was just downloading games, I'm hoping. But so early is best. Early.
And, you know, there's certain things that you just start the conversation when they don't even necessarily realize that they're learning about online safety. But I think of it, the analogy is like when you're driving in a car, you know, for the first year of your kid's life, they're facing backwards and they're not really paying attention to what you're doing.
Right.
But then as soon as they're turned around, they notice. If you ever see a toddler pretend like they're driving, they move their hands on the wheel back and forth. Yeah. They just observed that, right? And they start to learn that red means stop and green means go. And, you know, that we always have our seatbelts on before we pull out of the driveway. So they're learning all these things because of the rituals that are happening. And so, as parents, you know, when it comes to technology in your home, even if your kid is a preschooler, you know, start a ritual very, very early of, you know, first of all, the kid asking mommy, can I have time? And allowing them to earn or discern time with good behavior, bad behavior, helping out around the house. So that's a ritual that needs to go in place really early so they understand this is not something you're entitled to. Right. This is a privilege. Entertainment is extra. This is not, you know, something that you always get. Also, the ritual of not just giving your kid a device at, you know, the dinner table or at the restaurant, really engaging conversation. I saw this family of, I think 5 one time at a fast food restaurant in town. Their kids brought in their book bags while their parents were getting their meals set. You know, it takes forever. They were getting like ketchup and drinks and napkins, and their kids were all sitting at the table waiting for their parents to deliver the food, and they all had books. And I just had to tell that parent, you are awesome.
Yeah, that would have just stuck out like a sore thumb in these days. Really, because everybody, I mean, I was at a restaurant one time, and they even provide like little mini whatever iPads that I mean, they just pass them out to the kids. Here you go.
I know.
Here you go. Like, get square eyeballs. That's what I say.
But yeah, so you're learning those rituals so early, and you're learning time limits. That's a great ritual to start with your kids. Of you can have 30 minutes, and most if it's a device that's been made in the last 2 years, there probably is some sort of parental control where you can set a time limit so that can go off. And if you don't have that or don't know how to do that, just message me and I'll help you out. But that is something that we've started with our kids pretty early, is that, you can do this for an allotted amount of time. It's not unending time.
Right.
Because it's really easy for kids to lose track of time when they're on a device, and that doesn't help their time management. Time management is something you have to learn how to internalize through repetition. So we want our kids to know what 30 minutes feels like. We want them to know what 20 minutes feels like, so that they're not like, I just got on here,
Yeah, I always did timers and things like that when my kids were younger. But,
anything.
But you know what? I will say this, and I'm probably going to be like, everybody, throw your rotten tomatoes at me or whatever. But I will say that I think the 30-minute time limit for online stuff is fine. But I also think there are kids that are voracious readers, and they spend hours upon hours upon hours reading when they need to be present as well.
It's true.
So it's just because your kid is, reading for hours and hours they may not find the same kind of danger there, but when you're talking about, hey, spend some time with family, let's be present at the dinner table, put the book down, I unfortunately or fortunately, I didn't have any kids that brought books to the table that really wanted to read that much. But yeah, I do have kids that bring, their devices. I'm like, everybody put their devices in the middle.
Yes.
So no more.
Teaching that balance is so key. So key. So.
Yeah. So tell me, what does a day in the life of Sarah Siegand look like, and how you work and do your thing, and you have kids, you have 2 boys.
Yeah, it's school started, so it's a little bit of the crashing reality right now. This summer it was awesome because both of my children would sleep in, and
nice.
we've actually never had a summer where we could do that because I was always working outside the home. And so my children were, having we had a calendar of play dates or VBSs, and they had something every day. I would have to get up super early and look, where are my children today? So this summer, since it was the first one that I was home, and we had a really unusual summer. We had a death in our family. My husband's father had passed away. So there was a lot of things that just kind of forced us to be very flexible. And so I just took any restrictions off of, you need to get up by a certain time. I let them sleep. So that was a little bit hard for me to come out of getting back to school, because I was getting up early still and getting lots of stuff done, and getting up early didn't have to mean 5:30 like it does now. It was maybe 6 or 6:30. So now I'm getting up early. I'm trying to make sure that every morning I have some time in my Bible and just, praying through my day so I know what it's going to look like. Get the kids up, get them moving, get lunches packed, trying to make them pack lunches this year.
Yeah, good luck.
Their breakfast. I know. It's kind of come down to just bring me everything that you want in your lunch.
There you go. That's a big
they're
deal.
at least motivated for that, because they want to make sure that if there's one pudding left, that it goes in their lunchbox. But, having them really starting to try to train, especially our middle schooler, for that independence of, being responsible for his own things. So we get out the door. Some days we're out the door by 7:30. Some days it's more like 7:15. So that's an adjustment because we have 2 schools that we're dropping off at. And I get home usually about 8 o'clock. And the first thing that I'm doing is, if there's any more time that I need to just kind of spend, thinking through my day or praying about anything, that's when I do that. But I'll jump onto email as soon as that's concluded. And I look at what requests are coming in for the day. Sometimes my clients need stuff right away. I look at my weekly plan. I always have a queue for my work that week. And then I'll figure out what stuff for parents who fight needs to happen at what time. Actually, I have a Google alert set for online safety articles that are being posted on the internet. So that comes in about 2:00. And that's when usually I'll do my research from 2 to 3 because I have school pickup at 3. So I'm trying to get all of my graphic design work done by 2:00.
What, how do you get on that Google Alert? Is that an app?
No, it's actually something that's on your Google screen. If you Google anything, like if you go to the homepage on Google and you type in, let me see if I can do it, online safety.
So you have things that you have some tags or whatever that you're wanting to follow.
Yeah.
So that you know what's going on because it is a industry that is constantly changing and updating, so to speak.
Yeah. You can just go to google.com/alerts while you're logged in. And then so if you're wanting to stay up on, business trends or marketing trends, or if there is, a certain thing that you're following, you can set up a Google alert and then you'll get an email with some collected stories from the day with those keywords.
Okay.
So that's something that I do every day. And, also on Facebook or Twitter, I basically, if I have like 5 minutes or 10 minutes where I'm waiting for somebody to respond to something that I need to know before I go further in a graphic design job, I'll jump onto Twitter. And one Twitter hack that I have that I don't know if somebody taught this to me or if I'm just brilliant and I came up with it myself, but I created a list in Twitter that is all stuff that's retweetable. So they're people, allies in online safety, or people who are constantly talking about online safety, so that I'm not having to create all of the content, because really there's experts in this field. I am just a mouthpiece to parents. So I have about 73 people on a private closed list that I created in my Twitter feed. And I don't go look at my actual Twitter feed for like every, Tom, Dick, and Harry and all the things that they're saying. I really just look at those allies every day and see what news stories and stuff that they're bringing out, and then I'll pass those along to parents. So that is something that I'm doing daily. That's a time saver for me.
That's a great tool. Yeah.
Easy to get sucked into.
I know that I have been asked, like so-and-so, I think I get a couple of requests every now and then. So-and-so has put you on a business coach list. So I'll be placed on a list. And I guess they're retweeting me. I don't really do Twitter that much. I mean, I do some, but so yeah, I know about lists, and I think that is a major time saver. That's good that you've got it all on there.
And I think it's been good for networking, because within those 73 people, we're seeing each other share different things. I feel like it's earned us a little bit of clout with other organizations that know that we're not here to compete with them. We're here to champion them. And so they've in turn, shared or commented on our things from time to time as well. So for me, more than about just getting information out to my market, which is of course what ultimately I want to reach parents, but Twitter for us has been more of a networking opportunity with other larger organizations so that we can really help each other. And since we're so small and fledgling, it's just me and my husband right now, we have a lot to learn. So networking with larger organizations that have been doing it for 10 years is crucial for us to succeed, because we need to learn what things they've already learned and avoid some mistakes.
Yeah, that's really good that you can kind of connect with others who are doing the same thing. And I think, kind of like in my industry with podcasting, there's in coaching, once the tide goes up, all the boats go up. So everyone gets, gets the advantage. So that's good that y'all have connected that way. Yeah. So tell me what you're a reader. So tell me what you are reading these days.
Well, I just finished a book that was massive and a little frightening, but in a good kind of way.
Like massive as in a lot of pages?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know how many, but several hundred. It's like a
Wow.
2 or 3 inch book, called American Girls, The Secret Lives of Social Media and the Secret Lives of Teenagers. And obviously that's something that, I read as far as research goes. And I would recommend that book to anybody who has teenage girls or tween girls. I think it's a little bit shocking of a cross section about our teen culture, but it's very helpful for me to have my eyes wide open because, I live in the suburbs and my kids are pretty sheltered. And so sometimes you kind of forget what other people's experiences are. So I like to read books that bring that into me. So that's what I just finished up. And I'm waiting on a book called Unselfie by Michelle Borba. That should be in my mailbox any day. So,
Oh, that sounds interesting. Unselfie.
yes. And it's basically about, raising kids who have compassion in a very narcissistic world. So that's a big thing on my radar with my kids, is wanting to raise them to be looking outwards and not always drawing attention to themselves.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, yes, that's the $1 million question there. How do we do that in a world where, I posted something on Facebook the other day, like, give me your advice. And someone said, everything, to remember that everything is a first world problem. And I was like, oh gosh, absolutely. In our world, yes, everything is a first world problem. We're not walking from here to, 2 miles, 3 miles down to get water. We're driving up to a store and getting our food delivered to us, our groceries.
Exactly. I know.
And so we live in that culture. We live in that. So how do we teach our kids? So that's a good book. I may have to pick that one up too. Yeah. So what are some 3 things that you're absolutely loving these days? It can be anything from food, shows.
Well, we already hit Walmart grocery.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm loving
the online ordering from Walmart grocery. I love that my children have started to eat wraps at lunch, which probably sounds silly to some people, but my kids don't like sandwiches.
Not to me. My kids don't like sandwiches either.
And so I have really, been pulling my hair out for the last few years because I want them to eat something that's nutritious. I feel like it's a little bit of a roll the dice thing with school lunch.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, both of my kids decided that they would do that this year, and they both tried it and they liked it. So my oldest son is eating a wrap with like turkey, cheese, spinach, and tomato, which is awesome.
That's good.
And my younger son is eating avocados and black beans because he loves avocados.
Really? So, but what is the wrap that, like, what kind of wrap are you
just using a flour tortilla.
Just like a flour tortilla, but you call it, it's a wrap. So
it's a wrap. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I wrap it up in foil so that it keeps its shape, and I like twist the end that they're supposed to open first so that it doesn't dump everywhere. And that's my oldest son. My younger son is putting it together at school himself. So
he wants to do his own wrap.
Yeah, and that's been a total win. So my children are eating at lunch, and that's good.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I have a non-sandwich family as well. For my daughter, I used to just pack her just everything that made up a sandwich, but not a sandwich.
Oh, right.
But didn't put them together. She doesn't like them together. Now, my son, this year, I was like, okay, we're going to the grocery store. You're going to tell me what you're going to eat for lunch, because I just think if you can't have a sandwich or a wrap, like, what do you do? So he said, if you can just grill some chicken and then just put it in a baggie. I was like, cold chicken? Like a chicken breast, like a flattened out chicken breast that's grilled. So that's what I pack him.
Well, it's protein. Hey.
It's protein. So, yeah.
And it's not a chicken nugget. So.
Right.
Yeah. That's a win.
That is a win. So what else? One more thing. Do you have another?
One more thing. I would say I've just tried this recently, so love may be a little bit strong, but I am pretty excited about the potential. Is I just started using a new software application called FreshBooks for
Yes.
invoicing and keeping track of my time. So I'm trying to find some more streamlined solutions so that I'm not doing invoices in this and time record keeping in this and receipts in this. So anyway, that sort of remains to be seen because it hasn't really proven itself out yet. But so far, I am really, really liking FreshBooks.
Now, FreshBooks it's a subsidiary or it's a offshoot of Quicken. Is that right?
I don't know. Actually, I don't really know.
Something. It's off of something, and I can't remember which one it is.
I know that they
QuickBooks, maybe.
It could be because they have a logo that is similar.
Okay.
Which, of course, I noticed the logo is a graphic design. But it also is partnered with WePay, which I'm not really sure what the connection is there. But anyway.
Yeah. So that's what you use to bill your clients.
I have just started using that
and you're liking it.
And keeping track of the time because, like I said, there are many times in the day where I hit a stop for like 5 or 10 minutes, and so it's helpful to have some place that I can create multiple tabs for multiple clients if I just want to jump back and forth. I just kind of need it to be really easy and flexible. So. That's my newest find.
Yeah, those are good. Thanks. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. And I'm going to, when we're done, I'm going to let people know what you're going to be offering our listeners. So stay tuned. And thanks so much, Sarah, for coming on and sharing about
Thanks, Corrine. It was really fun, really fun.
What great information for all parents. Sarah is offering a free 30-minute phone consultation to discuss solutions to strengthen your family's online safety. And you can ask questions about parental controls, internet filtering, monitoring, social media, and app safety. Don't miss this opportunity to improve your internet safety in your home and on your phone. You can find out more about how to get all this and take advantage of the offer that Sarah is offering us in the show notes at CorineSandiford.com, or you can contact Sarah at Parents Who Fight on Twitter. Music is by Ben Sound, and this podcast has been sponsored by Brentwood Life Coach. Thanks so much for listening to Rising Stories. Take care and keep rising in your own story.